Welcome to the AV Huddle, the place for AV professionals to get the latest news, updates and stories from the leading commercial manufacturers and suppliers. Hear from end users while we dive into new technology, business strategy and innovative ways AV is shaping the sector. Let's jump into the Huddle.
Hi guys, so welcome to another edition of AV Huddle, and today we have the team from Clevertouch. So instead of me trying to explain everybody, I would like to welcome Ross, Sean, Helen, and also Louis from AVM. And it'd probably be better if, Ross, you want to start off and give us an intro of who you are, what you do, and then we'll pass it around to the rest of the team members.
Absolutely, thanks very much, Mitesh. My name's Ross Pedgrift. I look after the digital signage element of Clevertouch Technologies. Over 10 years experience in that industry. And today, hopefully, what we'll be talking about is all of the products that we can help customers with, and the ecosystem that we have, and that we're looking to just share and talk about our knowledge of that with everybody.
And over to Sean.
Helen, do you want to jump in?
Hi, sure. Well, I'm Helen Kenneth. I work with Clevertouch. I'm the product marketing person. I look after the digital signage, room booking, products that we operate with, and yeah, I'm just here to be part of the team and support what we're doing with our partners and how we can help our end users with all the products that we use, we offer, whatever. That's pretty weird, actually.
Thanks. And I'm Sean Markley. I'm the group product director, looking after the technologies that we're doing. Obviously, a lot of the roadmap stuff and plans and the developments within all the brands that come under our banner.
I'm Louis. I'm an engineer at AVM, and I work alongside many of the projects we do and many of the installs. And I've been in the industry for about a year and a half now.
Cool, thank you very much, guys. So Ross, I'll probably start with yourself first. So give us a little bit of an insight, and if nobody's really heard of Clevertouch before, you mentioned your digital signage, your room bookings, panels. I think Sean can touch on that a bit more later. But how is the market at the moment with, let's say, digital signage and room bookings? Because obviously COVID's had a big impact. Where do you see your business going at the moment? How's it performing to start off with, and where do you see it going in terms of trends?
Yeah, I mean, as far as our business goes, throughout the whole COVID, even in lockdown, we've seen that we're still able to remain busy, and the different ways of working have really come to the forefront. We've all had to completely adopt to this way of working, i.e. the Zoom world. We have all of our meetings really over Zoom, but the actual business itself, I mean, just give you an idea, over the lockdown period, Helen and I trained over 300 different people in groups, we can say, but over 300 different people on the digital signage platform that we've. So that should give you an idea of the momentum that we've got. So now hopefully moving back into something like a normal world again, that will come to fruition. But throughout the whole COVID period, we've always remained busy, and I'm sure Sean will pick up on it. We're doing very, very well.
Yeah, is that because there's a change in behaviour, or is it because of just the way that technology is, the customers see a benefit in using, for example, digital signage?
Yeah, I think absolutely right. I think it gave people that opportunity to take a bit of time out to learn about other products that, say, they knew us for our interactive touchscreen offering, and they knew we had digital signage as part of it, but they had that time to actually go, well, let's learn more about the digital signage element that Clevertouch have got, and let's work out how we can best incorporate that into the projects that we're involved in. And what we see at the moment is that if somebody is asking for digital signage, for example, so Helen and I would look after that, we're quite easily and quite naturally able to transfer that conversation to not just be about digital signage, but also the other products in our ecosystem, room booking, for example, or a Clevertouch screen, or our LFD range that we've got. And it doesn't even feel like a a difficult thing to talk about, because if for example there's a new build going on and you want digital signage, the chances are you're going to want a room booking system as well, and you're going to want some collaborative boards in the meeting room areas. So things seem to, especially from what I can see, they seem to feel really a natural discussion to have with people, to just let them understand all the different things we do rather than just the singular.
Yeah, so I guess you find that customers are, you're talking about multiple products because they fit very well together. And I guess, customers are still working and, business is still going on because you've been so busy doing all the training and integrating people. And what kind of end users do you see using, the products that you've got on offer here?
Well,
actually, I'll just jump in there, sorry, Russ, just to, basically just as an overall picture of the entire group, our performance is up on last year. So we're really proud of that. We're really pleased about that. But if you like, the analysis really is, okay, where has that come from? Because that's what's interesting to, AV companies and integrators around the world is, okay, where's that business coming from? Where is it?
Yeah.
And what we've noticed, are always strong. Being an international company, trading in 50 plus countries, that's very different because different countries are at different adoption rates in terms of technology. So that's kind of interesting. But for me, what's been more interesting is that it's where the products are going, and it's the areas of our business that are actually increased, expanded quickly. Your meeting room, huddle space, not so much. Starting to some out of in. I won't name with a lot of the big financial organisations, but some of the big changes have come in higher education, further education, healthcare, MOD, Ministry of Defence, public sector, and those parts of the market, especially in interactive, collaborative, digital signage, room booking, all of those areas where we kind of specialise, have been quite slow historically to take up. And it's like exactly what Ross says. It's almost like there's been a bit of a step back and a breathing space, and it's given people the chance to realise, do you know what? Let's finally get our communication sorted. Let's finally get room management sorted. Let's finally get that digital signage sorted. Because as we start to come out of the lockdown, we start to open hospitals, which obviously have stayed open, but public sector areas, communication, all those things that you need to have that information. In fact, it's more critical than ever that you've got the communication in terms of signage, interactivity, collaboration, all those platforms. It's more important than ever. So we've been really, really pleased and excited about the opportunities that are coming up. And we think it's very exciting times.
That's very interesting points, because I guess a lot of people don't see how they've had a chance to take a step back.
I heard a great quote actually recently, which was from one of the big financial institutions. And we were talking about this adoption curve, and I did a presentation, and it was about the fact that when we talk about the adoption of technologies, there's this traditional kind of curve that we get, and you can draw it. Everyone knows that kind of bell curve sort of thing. And you've got the early adopters, et cetera, et cetera. And I heard this quote that said that in terms of some of these newer technologies and some of the more advanced technologies like collaboration, unified communications, the digital signage world, if you like, that you're going to see a faster adoption of those technologies, a bit like when the internet is going to be one of the fastest adoptions of tech in our industry since the World Wide Web.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're spot on there. I think, I always struggle where people all of a sudden started doing, remote conferencing and video calls. And I felt actually it's been around for a long time. It's just people have been forced to use it. Everybody used to have meetings and drive up and, catch flights wherever they need to. And you think, why don't you just use it then? But I think the market or the industry has now been forced to now use technology. And actually now they're seeing, I could do this. they maybe didn't want to have the risk before, or there's a reason behind it not taking that approach?
We've definitely crammed probably 2 years of R&D and development into 6 months, and we're not the only company that'll be doing that.
Yeah.
What it means is that curve is no longer a curve; it's a spike, and it's a spike because what would have taken 4 years will now take 2.
It's quite exciting, honestly, because when all the lockdowns ended and all this is over, hopefully, people are just going to come back into the businesses and they're going to see all this new technology that's been all installed over the time that they've been at home. They'll have all these new systems to interact with and to try out, and there'll be better ways to communicate. And that's one of the exciting things of being in AV at the minute, is people are now seeing the demand for it.
Jello, you're absolutely right. And I use this example again, which I used recently, which is my mother's 78. She found this app called House Party. When she sent it round to all of our family members, so all my brothers and sisters and cousins and everything, she sent it round, she set up an account, she got us all linked into it, and we've all been using it as a family. Now, my mother's 78 years old, and she doesn't even know how to use a computer. She managed to do it on her iPad, which she just uses for reading books. Now, when we go back into, as we start to filter back to workplaces, schools, environments, offices, whatever it might be, we're so now used to having that technology at our fingertips to be able to jump on a call, to share my screen, to give someone control of my screen. All the things that we know as an industry have been doable for a long time. But now my 78-year-old mother can do it. That is a given now. It's a bit like, when you go back inside and say, well, it's a bit like saying, well, the kids used to use a slate board inside and now we're using interactive whiteboards. It's that chalk and cheese. It's that complete diversification of the technology that's going to just jump forward, because we've been forced in a way to start using the technology that's been at our fingertips.
Yeah, it makes such good sense. And I think what you said earlier really touched home, was that businesses are thinking right now the period is to not do any work and take a step back, but actually what you've highlighted is actually learn about new technologies and use that space as an advantage and explore how we can use technology and plan in what we're going to install in what rooms and get the ball rolling. So actually for AV resellers out there and integrators, it's an exciting time, because they should be really busy, because they've got space to actually get on with stuff and scope up projects and do work essentially.
The unified communication space, I think the last 6 months has been fascinating. I've spent a lot of time talking to Zoom, to Microsoft, to Starleaf, to Polycom, to Panicast, to Jabra. We're talking to these guys all the time, which is something we'd have never had the time and the energy to do. We're jumping on webinars, we're jumping on focus groups, all this stuff is going on in the background, and we're all talking to each other, which it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because we're all so busy, creating our own products, doing our own thing. But now it's happening. And so, if we come back to ourselves, but we're introducing Zoom Rooms products out of the box. Zoom Rooms products. We're introducing Microsoft Teams Rooms products. We're linking in with the camera manufacturers. We're linking in with the unified communications platform. We're linking in with the customized launchers. And it's all fast tracked. So interestingly, if you look at Zoom, Zoom Start is an application you downloaded from any of the portals sort of thing. And it very quickly realized that it had to have built-in self-updating tools. It had to stand alone as a platform. And it just went bum, 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 bum. Anyone who started using it, every time you turned it on, there was an update. And that's what's happened. And Microsoft Teams is the same. Microsoft Teams, again, stepped up to the game. You've got the Teams Rooms solution now. You've got the Teams Rooms controller solutions all in place. You've got the partners that they're partnering with to actually have these kind of kiosk mode devices, because people have realized that what do people want? I just want to walk into a room and press a button,
Yeah.
And it's fast tracked, and it's very, very exciting.
Definitely. And in terms of, you touched on R&D earlier, where do you see, your products going forward? What have you got in the pipeline that I guess anybody listening to this should be excited about, or keen to follow in terms of what's happening within the space?
I'll probably hand over to Ross and Helen away, because for me personally and for us, it's what our big next step is, our ecosystem. So this is all of our technologies and products, from touch, non-touch, collaboration, software, room booking, all under one kind of roof. But maybe you guys can expand on that.
Where I see it being really exciting is the fact that, as Sean said, we've got all those different products that are under the one roof, the one umbrella. But the model that we adopt is quite different to a lot of them, whereas a lot of our competitors go with a subscription-based model. With, for example, our digital signage platform, you have a couple of options, whether you have a media player, or we've launched a range of screens called the CM series that within the screen is a media player that can play out full screen digital signage. So if, for example, you're a school and your main mission, now going back, sending the students back, is to just remind them to walk on the left or walk on the right or wash your hands. It's a simple solution that is non-subscription. Once you've purchased the LFD screen, you've got access to digital signage platform, and you can just carry on using it and just update your messaging really quite simply. So that's a really exciting, from our point of view, a really exciting product that we've brought to the marketplace, that we'd love to speak to anybody that is listening. We'll happily answer any questions we've got on that. I'm sure Helen wants to add something.
So the ecosystem, I guess there's a lot of advantages to it, and as both Sean and Ross have said, it is basically an integrated solution which offers a range of products, but the biggest advantage is that it's all managed from the one CMS. So our customers can use one very simple platform application which they can log in by any internet connected device. They can manage all of their different products on that one platform, sending messages, whether they be a digital signage message, a room booking message, etc. All of that is all on that one platform. So it's cost effective for them to invest in initially. There's limited amount of training. There's not lots of software for all of the end user people responsible for the different types of information to learn. And it just means that ongoing with all of our R&D development, we're constantly, as Sean's said, we're constantly adding fantastic new features and new products to our range. All of this is through that one CMS, which is so easy to use that our customers can be up and running within 10 minutes of an installation. We're sending those COVID messages at the moment. And what we're finding is with this period that we've been in, we've been able to train those end users as well, and they're adopting some of the features that we already have on the platform to use in different ways so that they can get messages across to people that are still in the office, for example. Some of our customers are furloughed and some of their colleagues are still in the office, so people are still being able to interact, and all of that from that one platform. So ongoing, it's just such a great offering, and it's ideal for any sort of vertical. Where, as Ross says, yeah, we're here to help all of our end users who are considering any sort of digital signage, interactive, non-interactive, room booking.
So I guess from the sounds of it, it's just, you do more than hardware. It's, you've got your various hardware, like your digital signage, your room bookings, your panels, your Clevertouch hardware, but you've also got one software system somewhere where actually they can control everything from that. So it's all, I guess, simplicity for the end user, ultimately, is what you're saying.
That is the key. That is the key to our success, is offering an easy to use solution, but with all the feature-rich capabilities that Clevertouch is renowned for. Okay.
And that's available now?
And cloud-based.
And cloud-based, yeah. Okay, yeah, because you get the updates then, I guess, and it's just, I guess everything's cloud-based these days for obvious reasons.
Again, what the last 9 months has taught us, I think, and it's certainly fast-tracked wireless network cloud-based technologies in all markets and all industries, because we've all had to find ways to resolve these working from home issues. So again, and I would put ourselves in that category. We've been talking about, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Teams, and things that, as a technology company, we should have put in place some time ago. But when we had to, we were all basically forced to get on with that very quickly. And the whole future for our company is that we will all be working far more agile. Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah.
With our offices, we have offices in all over the world. We have a new showroom opening in London very, very, very soon as well. And the plan is that we will be far more agile, whether it's working from our head offices, from our showrooms, or remotely around the world. And there'll be many companies that have had to do the same thing.
No, that definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And Sean, while you're talking, I don't know if you could tell me more about Clevertouch itself, and what is it? What are the benefits, and how could the end users gain from this? How is it going to help them?
Yeah, sure. So obviously the Sahara Group, which has all of our brands under it, established in 1974. The touchscreen technology. So we've had a lot of clever brands over the years, but the Clevertouch, which is the large format touchscreen technology. So we were the first company to bring it to market about 11 years ago. Predominantly in the education space, which was where the mass market was at the time. Right up to date today, where we have a range of products. We introduced a sort of corporate and HEFE products about 5 years ago, specifically to that market. And we've got, like I say, there's offices all over the world and salespeople all over the world. We're the number one brand in the UK and various other places around the world. And we, in terms of interactive flat panel, large format displays, we manufacture around 35,000 products per year. And then obviously we've got the non-touch, the room booking systems, digital signage players as well, which, as I said, kind of all links into that. But the benefit for us has been very early to market, writing our own software. A lot of our customers and the resale network have direct access to a manufacturer who's developing the hardware, developing the software. So it means we can be really agile. We can be very quick to adopt. I've just got off a conference call with the US, so I want to add a few more functions into our software platforms. And our timescale on that is 4 to 6 weeks, and we'll have those added in. So I think, unlike perhaps some of our competitors, we are a little bit different in our approach to the market. But yeah.
And how, so I guess the benefits from the reseller is, working with you guys, you're really quick and agile. I can develop, and there's always got new things out there, and you can make special requests. And what about from the end user's perspective? What would you say is a couple of the key benefits for them who are using this Clevertouch system?
Yeah, there's a number of benefits, obviously, from the technology itself, and obviously us trying to stay ahead as best we can. But we have a lot of interaction with the end user. So we're a trade-only manufacturer, and we only work with our partners. But we're very, very open to end users, and Ross and Helen are both aligned with the end user as well. We have our showrooms all around the UK, all around the world, where we're quite happy to end users come in, we talk to us, and we very openly bring them into our beta programs, our development programs, our ideas, and the feedback of what. And I think that's been, a huge contributing factor to our success. Is we haven't tried to create products and then push them onto a market that doesn't want them. We've listened to what the customers wanted, and then designed and developed products as to what people want and how they want them to work. Because we're not tied to any ecosystem or any platform. So although we have our own ecosystem, it is agnostic. It doesn't matter what products you are using. Our software is cross-platform, so we're not linked to Apple or Android or Microsoft. We always make everything's cross-platform and everything's agnostic. So we're not. You can use and configure our products however you want to.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you for that. Louis, I don't know if you got any questions you want to chuck in. At all?
Yeah, nothing pressing at the moment. It was really interesting to hear what you were talking about earlier, Sean. Actually, how was it 78-year-old mother? Is finding technology a lot easier now, and it makes me think, we should be using 78-year-old mothers for our end user testing and future installs to make sure it's end user friendly. But that's the way it's going. It needs to be as simple as possible, and clearly something's going right if she's able to.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of our stuff we do test on different age groups, and it has to be. That is a lesson we've all learned, I think, is it has to be simple. Complicated, there is a place for a complicated control system or a solution, but there's no reason why these can't be simple. It's got to be a natural. The user interfaces have to be uncomplicated, uncluttered. It's one of those kind of less is more. I always think that if you could give it to a 6-year-old and they can work it out, you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, especially with you're doing a lot of installs in schools. I mean, it wasn't so long ago for me that I was in school, I suppose, to at least compared to everyone here. But when I was there, you'd get teachers calling down IT technicians for like the simplest things, and you think, you've really got to simplify things to make it the experience as best as possible for the users. And I think technology in a minute is allowing for that to be possible. And it's good to see it is becoming simple for the users themselves, while behind the scenes you might have quite a complex system, but all they see is what they need to see and the things they'll be using. And it's all about that experience, honestly.
It's really exciting. So as I say, it's a really exciting generational thing, I think, that's going to happen now, because we've got all of us who've got children, sort of thing as well. They're working from home. They're having to work in different ways on different platforms with different technologies, different solutions. And the kids are using Zoom, they're using Teams, they're using Google, Hangouts, they're using all kinds of products and solutions. They're using new cloud-based technologies for doing their homework and their assignments, and sending them back and emailing and all the kind of things. And of course, all of those children at different stages of the education system will be coming into the workplace. And, my children can operate a Chromebook as much as a tablet, as much as a Windows operating, as much as a MacBook operating system fluidly between, and and that is the norm now. And so it is very exciting, because of course that's just going to fast track again the whole industry for that next step, that next generation.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think we certainly on the digital signage side, Helen and I pride ourselves on the fact that we can quite easily, from nothing, teach somebody how to use the platform within half an hour. And even if you had to include a setup of the media player and HDMI to the screen, add another 5 minutes. So all of a sudden, from nothing, you've got a media player online and some content running on that player. And it's just something we know works, the model works, and how we go about doing the training and explaining how it is, and showing. It's not just about talking about it, it's showing how easy our system is to use, is where we're really starting to really clean up and seeing some real nice projects won.
That's definitely something you can pride yourselves on there, because being able to leave users with a system that they know how to use, they're not just been dumped with this install you've done for them. They have a full understanding of how they use a system, and if they did run into something, they know who to contact as well. And that's the important thing in these scenarios.
And from our point of view, guys, if anybody listening does want to see the platform and wants to have a demo, we can either go to site if allowed, or we can sort out a Zoom and do a demonstration. And that's not just for the digital signage platform. We also operate the same way to demonstrate how the Clevertouch screens work as well. We set up a camera and it points at the screen, and my colleague James goes through on the corporate side, and it will be Ashley and his team if it's education. We can easily sort out those demos should any of the listeners want to contact us and get involved.
That's good. I was going to say, we're talking earlier, you remind me of the adage of, RTFM, really. Nobody ever reads the manual these days. Everybody thinks they can use it. And I think most of that comes from smartphones. I think, you get a smartphone these days, nobody opens up a manual. You just follow the instructions, it just works. And I think everybody's got into that habit of, using things by just jumping on it and experimenting with it.
That's the thing as well, Mitz. We've discussed this before on a previous podcast, but the home user experience at the minute of technology is very simplified, and that's kind of been boosted ahead by smartphones and other smart home devices, whereas AV is now it's getting to that point where we want to have as simple a system as there is at home in the office. And people don't even look at the manuals anymore at home, but it should eventually be a similar situation in the offices, really. So hopefully we can get to that point.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get to the point where you walk in a room and you talk to a smart home device as you would, and you'd say, switch on the meeting room or connect to whoever, and it will just establish the connection for you. I could just see
it'll be your smart office device, won't it?
Yeah.
We've got
on the flip side to what Sean said with his mother, I asked my son, who was 9 at the time, to follow a help video for the digital signage platform to create a template just by following a couple of minute video and just to drag and drop. And it just shows, again, what Sean was saying, with just a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of just encouraging him to get on and try it. He was able to then make a template. It was basic, but the point of it is you've got two completely different generations there, both using different technologies, but finding it quite easy, which is an amazing place to be.
Yeah, and hopefully it means
to follow on from the point. So just to follow on from the point you were making, guys, some of the projects that we've got in our roadmap at the moment, which we're trialing and we're working on, and it's fast tracked again, is things like voice recognition. So that the APIs that we take from, we use APIs, for example, from handwriting recognition companies, mathematical recognition companies. So we plug those into our software platforms. And speech recognition has been one of those things that's kind of only been used in a small market, but that's suddenly been hugely fast tracked. And so we can start plugging that. So then you're into this world of speak to type, speak to text, into all of our technology sort of thing. The other things that I found really interesting, which again we're trialing, is things like gesture control modules. So whereby there's actually a plug-in modules, generally USB, and they've got built-in gesture control. So I don't even have to, and it's not necessarily about trying to find ways of not interacting with the technology, but it's been, okay, so if I'm at the back of a room and I want to swipe on my PowerPoint presentation, why can't I do that? It's the kind of thing we use to raise the volume of our TV in our home for some time. So, it's all coming in now. And the other thing is the beaconing. I love some of the stuff that's happening with the beaconing technology out there, the audio beaconing, Bluetooth beaconing. Right, absolutely. What will come is I walk into that room. You won't even need to say anything because it will automatically know that you're in the room because it will detect your personal device that you have on you. Or you can just sign in with a voice recognition, just kind of log you in. And again, it's exact, because back to what I said before, that stuff was in our pipeline and you were looking, if you'd have asked me 12 months ago, I'd have said, yeah, it's a 2025 technology. We're starting to look at it now. If you ask me today, I'd say it's a 2022 technology and it's around the corner.
Sounds like exciting times ahead, really. I'm hoping, at one point it gets to a point where the AV technology is leading the home consumer market. And I'm sure that, it'll get there at some point. I guess before we end the last question from myself, is there anything that you guys wish to share with the listeners from how can it help the listeners, if they're struggling with business and COVID's had an impact, or they're looking for a market to enter, or is there anything that you wish to communicate? You've got an opportunity here, a platform to share something. What message would you send to kind of AV integrators, but also people who are using the technology in the various sectors?
Well, just quickly before maybe Ross and Helen can add to this, but one of the things we've invested in over the last 6 months in terms of headcount and resources. So we now have people in all the sectors. So we have an MOD specialist, and these are end user aligned. So these are not aligned to our channel, and their responsibility in their roles is to pull business through. Obviously, you've got Ross and Helen on the digital signage and platforms and the ecosystem, but we've got healthcare, MOD, corporate, and these are all new people that have joined. And it's what's fascinating about this. And Ross and Helen, you've met these guys. They've never even been to our offices. We have a whole load of new people that have joined our company who've never even been to our offices, and internationally as well. So there is a whole international piece as well, because what this is opening up, and I've seen more projects than ever where they are rollout projects, European-wide, worldwide rollout projects, which of course great for our industry, very connected, and they're bigger opportunities, of course. But what I say is talk to us, talk to our teams. We've got a massive amount of knowledge in terms of hardware, software development, but also technical market. You know, Ross and Helen, both of them with their backgrounds in the industry, I think it's 10 years plus, I think, in this market thing. And the same on others. So, you know, talk to us. But yeah, Ross, Helen.
Yeah, well, I guess what we're finding, I work very, very closely aligned with our end user market, and I'm finding that it's really interesting the different verticals that are actually growing. And yeah, as Sean says, we're reflecting that in the kind of team that we're putting together as we do grow. But there's also sectors like the retail sector, which has continued to be ongoing in most aspects of our day-to-day lives, you know, supermarkets, etc. And we're finding a lot of those projects are expanding their requirements. They're not just looking at a single screen as they walk in the front door now. What they're doing is they're looking at other ways of being able to interact with their user as they're walking through. So we've got quite a lot of projects, and as Sean said, we've got an UK international project that we're working on at the moment for a retailer, and it's really exciting that they're looking at the range of products that we have. So not just looking at a non-touch screen, they're looking at non-touch and interactive screens, and how the features that we have on our platform can offer a solution to them. So if there's anybody thinking about, well, it might be just digital signage, or it might be a meeting room panel, but what can I do with that technology? We're the people that can help you figure out exactly how to use that, how to take advantage of all the different features. For example, using exactly what Ross and Sean have said about a young generation and an older generation. We've all gone back into the pub since July, and we've all been scanning QR codes so we can order our drinks at the bar. What we're finding is you can actually create a QR code and put that on your digital signage panel within the platform. So we're finding that some of our customers are doing that because you can interact from a non-touch screen by people becoming more familiar with using QR codes. And again, it is older technology. It's been around for a while, but now there's another use for it. And you can send them to a form to buy their drink, or you can send them to a wayfinder if they're walking into a healthcare clinic and they need to get around. So there's lots of different uses that as the specialists in our field, that's what we're here for. So whether it is end user or whether it is an integrator, certainly talk to our entire team, and we'll help you make the most out of what we offer and get the best investment value for what you want to do and how you want to achieve it.
Yeah, I guess what you said there, Helen, is that you're more than just, you know, the technology you see. You're an enabler for a lot more because of the way it's been set up. So if anybody's got a particular challenge or they're quite creative in what they want to do, it's kind of, you know, definitely have a think about it and have a chat with you guys, because there's more to it than just a screen. And I think people also forget, you know, COVID has had an impact on a lot of businesses, but it's been a positive impact for a lot of other sectors. You know, you mentioned retail in that example there. So I think there's certain businesses that are always going to thrive. I think, you know, any integrators out there or AV, you know, specialist, it's just, I guess, shifting a focus a little bit into who you're talking to from that point of view.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think just from my point of view, got offerings of various budgets, so don't feel like that digital signage or an interactive touchscreen might be not in the budget that you've got in mind. Chat to us, because we're, as Sean said, agnostic on how we've got products. We've got Android, Windows media players, for example. We offer different manufacturers. We offer different platforms, but also, for example, in our screens, you've got PC slots as well that you can add if you wish. So it's just a case of chat to us, and we'll understand what you want to do, and then we can take it on from there and help you with whatever project it is.
Sounds good. I think I've lost Louis for a second there. Hopefully he can jump back in when he's reconnected. But I was going to say my last question was, if anybody wants to get in touch, what's the best way of getting in touch with, I don't know who the best person is here, but, how can somebody get in touch if they want to get in touch with you guys?
info@clevertouch.com.
So do you want to say that again?
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Helen's absolutely right. Go straight to the website, clevertouch.com, or the SaharaAV.com. We've got obviously internal account managers, external account managers, product specialists, product champions, end user alliance specialists, sort of things. So I think most of the people we work with in the UK have either got a contact or know of a contact, hopefully. But yeah, I come back to that thing. We're here to help. Just use us, introduce us to your customers, and we can talk about the technologies, talk about the solutions, and see what opportunities can be uncovered.
Brilliant. Okay, I guess that leaves me to say thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure to have you guys on board and to learn a little bit about what's going on, where the market is, and how it can help. AV integrators, and I think it's great to learn there's companies out there like yourselves who are agile and can be very quick and can adapt to changes and technology. I think we need companies like yourselves, because I think if something like this happened, then everybody stayed the same, we wouldn't really be moving forward. It's great to learn more about this. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the AV Huddle. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to get the latest AV updates. AV Huddle, powered by AVM Solutions.